My book, They Came Before Marco Polo, is now available on Amazon. The compelling story of China's African ancestry is revealed in this book. Readers are exposed to the African presence and impact on the Far East prior to the arrival of Marco Polo. With special focus on China, readers are shown the Chinese customs and traditions which have Black origins. The Black Mongols' interaction with China, the Swahili sailors' arrival in ancient China, and the ancient Black spiritual leaders who continue to guide China today, and much, much more. This book is a must reading for people of African descent. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima once said, "You cannot study Africa just by going to Africa itself. Because of the shattering of African civilizations, its pieces are scattered all over the world." Now, if we look at this slide here, the text says, during ancient times, a kingdom once thrived in Thailand, called the Funan Empire. Early Chinese visitors to this kingdom described the people as black with curly hair. Now, we have found segments, variations of African civilizations in Thailand and in Southeast Asia in general. So, let's just take a closer look at this topic, okay? Today, Thailand is the #1 destination for tourists. However, many are not aware of Thailand's ancient history. Okay, now it's true about the tourist industry in Thailand, okay? Most of Thailand's revenue is derived from the tourist industry. Thailand receives a lot of visitors from India, Japan, Europe, and the rest of the world. But these people receive very little indoctrination when it comes to Thailand's ancient history. And that's what we're going to go into further. Thailand has also become the popular destination of many African American men. This exodus to Thailand has been termed the passport bro movement. And this is true. A lot of African American males do come here to Thailand. Me included. I'm currently living in Bangkok, Thailand now. Although many African American men do come here to Thailand, many of them are unaware of Thailand's ancient Black history. The slide here says, many passport bros should be made aware the Funan Empire was a kingdom existing in southern Thailand. Early Chinese and Indian sources describe the Funanese people as black. Historian Ranoko Rechetti stated, in Funan itself, the men were described as small and black. This was a time during when blacks were clearly dominant in Southeast Asia. These ancient black peoples left evidence of their presence in the form of various Buddha figures. In 1833, historian Godfrey Higgins wrote, "In the most ancient temples scattered throughout Asia, where his worship is yet continued, he," meaning the Buddha, "is found black as jet, with the flat face, thick lips, and curly hair of the Negro." The Funan Empire existed from 50 to 550 AD. The map here shows the kingdom covered a vast area, which included portions of Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar as well. So, with regards to the Funan Empire, all these countries share the same history. The Funan Empire is part of the history of Thailand, of course, but it's also part of Cambodia's, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar's past as well. So in this discussion about this empire, bear in mind we're talking about most of Southeast Asia. Of course, we're talking about the history of Thailand, of course, but that history also includes all the other countries in this region of the world. Please bear that in mind. Unbeknownst to many, Funan was an ancient black kingdom which served as a dominant force in that region of the world. We have much evidence substantiating blacks ruled this area. For example, in 629 AD, Xuanzang, a Chinese Buddhist, traveled to India to obtain Buddhist scriptures. He described the peoples in Southeast Asia as having coarse features and very dark. Around 900 AD, Chinese records refer to the boats off the shores of Southeast Asia as Kulung Bo, which means vessels of black men. So as you can see from the last slide, Chinese observers have identified black sailors off the southern coast. Now let's take a closer look at the empire. The Funan was a powerful seafaring and trading state with established commercial links with Rome, the Malay Peninsula, India, and China. The kingdom flourished because it was strategically located on maritime routes. Funan was the first Hinduized kingdom in Southeast Asia and a major center for the spread of Indian culture. The Funan capital was located in what is now Cambodia. The capital city was Vatapura, which is located near Phnom Penh, the current capital of Cambodia. The Funan Empire was heavily influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism, with many religious monuments, temples, shrines, and pagodas scattered throughout their empire. Their name, Vatapura, actually means the city of hunters. Funan is the Chinese pronunciation of the word Phnom, the capital of modern Cambodia. Phnom means mountain. Somehow the kingdom became known by this term. Most of what we know about the Funan kingdom is derived from Chinese and Indian sources. Okay, here I'm trying to delve more deeply into this empire, into this civilization, so as to give you guys a more concrete and solid understanding of who these people were and what they were about. Okay, the slide here says a Chinese observer described the Funanese men as small and black. He noted their impressive libraries and the high regard they held for scholars in their empire. Featured above is a Funanese tablet with Sanskrit inscriptions. Bear in mind, Sanskrit is considered the sacred language of India. Also featured are ancient coins found at the Funan sites. So as we can see, there was an established civilization. They had their own culture, their own belief system, their own custom and traditions. And again, I want to make this clear to you. I keep reiterating this is part of Thailand's history, okay? Not just Thailand's history, but also the history of Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar. All those countries share the same history. And that history is the Funan Empire. The Funan Empire is the empire that unites those countries. It unites Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar because they all share the same cultural past. As stated earlier, Chinese sources have also provided us with valuable details. For example, early Chinese writer Nancy Cho, in his description of the peoples of Southeast Asia, wrote, "For the complexion of men, they considered black the most beautiful. In all kingdoms of the southern region, it is the same." So, now, I just want you guys to let that simmer in for a second, okay? Because when I come out and say these people, the Funan Empire, the Funan Kingdom, were composed of black people, I'm not just grabbing this out of thin air. It's based on something. It's based on written accounts from others, written accounts from Chinese writers, written accounts from Indian observers who observed these people and noticed that they appeared to be people of African descent. They noticed that these people had Africoid features, that they had black skin, curly or kinky hair, broad noses, and thick lips. That's what this is based on. It's not just us coming out and throwing this at you and not having some kind of foundation, some kind of solid backing about why we are saying this. This is why ancient writers have noticed this about these people, and they told us. They told us what they observed, how these people appear to them. This Chinese writer is telling us how these people appear to him. What was their ideas? What was their belief system? How they carried themselves? What was their appearance? That is what this is based on. Ancient written testimonials about the Funan people. It is also pertinent that we talk about Southeast Asia's environment because it played a major role in Funan's success as an empire. The slide here says Southeast Asia's tropical environment. The Funan Kingdom was successful as a maritime power because of their environment. Southeast Asia has numerous mountains. The dense rainforest makes overland travel impossible. As a result, people use the rivers to move goods and themselves from place to place. Rivers became the main transportation routes in this region. Learning how to navigate in this environment contributed greatly to Funan's success as a maritime trading nation. Okay, here's a little backstory on these peoples we're focusing on right now. The slide here says the Funanese were originally a bunch of pirates based in Uk-O, a location in the southwestern part of Vietnam. They were strategically located between the Mekong Delta and the main east-west maritime trade routes. With a high frequency of trade traffic passing through, their main income came through plundering ships that utilized these routes. So they were basically pirates robbing people, robbing ships that passed through the routes. The Funanese later realized rather than attacking ships, providing supplies and conducting trade with them yielded much higher profits. They became a commerce state and later grew into a powerful empire in the region. So basically, they just gave up their life of crime of being pirates and stealing from people, just gave up that life and learned to pursue a legitimate business where they make an honest living. They realized being honest and developing truthful trade with people brought in more money, brought in more profits for them. It was beneficial to them to take that route rather than living as a bunch of pirates. Okay, look at this head on this slide, okay? Okay, when I say the Funan Empire was composed of black people, I'm not just pulling this out of thin air, okay? It has to be based on something. I have to support what I said. This has to be based on some kind of substance. It has to be based on some kind of evidence. You just can't pull stuff out like that, throw it at people, and not say why you're saying what you're saying. You have to support it. You have to bring some kind of evidence to support what you're saying, to support your position. Look at this head, okay? You cannot tell me that is the face of a Chinese person. No, you cannot. If you do, go see an eye doctor. That is not a Chinese face there, okay? That is not a Caucasian face there either, okay? This is the face of a black person. Okay, that's what I mean. You have to we are basing this on evidence. We are basing this on findings or archaeological findings supporting that these people were black. Okay, the slide here says, here is the head of a Buddhist Safa found in Thailand. Let me read that again. Here is the head of a Buddhist Safa found in Thailand. This sculpture dates back to approximately 650 AD. That was a while back, folks. The head clearly displays Africoid facial features, which means broad nose, thick lips, kinky hair, brown or black skin. The slide goes on to say these findings further substantiate the presence of blacks in Southeast Asia's early history. This individual is quite possibly a remnant of the Funan kingdom, which means he's probably a descendant from the Funan kingdom because 650, that is after the Funan kingdom. But this was found in Thailand. And the Funan kingdom did exist, did include Thailand. So he could have been quite possibly a remnant population from that earlier kingdom that occupied Thailand and other areas, other countries in the Southeast Asia region. And for those of you hardheads who can't for some reason believe that Thailand can even have an indigenous black population living in her country, I present this photo to you here, okay? This is the Mani people of Thailand, okay? These people live in Thailand today. This is an indigenous black community that live in Thailand today, all right? Now, this photo look old, but these people are still here. These people are still living in Thailand today. Like I said, we're not just pulling this stuff out of thin air, okay? When I tell you these black people are living in Thailand, this is actually based on solid supportive evidence. Okay? I have information supporting what I said. I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. It's actually based on something. These are the Mani people of Thailand, okay? The Mani people of Thailand, okay? The Mani people of Thailand who live in this country today. Okay? This is not just based on some fanciful imagination. It's actually based on supportive evidence that these people actually live in Thailand. Now, if you don't believe this, then what you can do is, just go to the Mani people yourself and talk to them. Like I said, these people still live in Thailand. So if you doubt any of this, go to them yourself and talk to them yourself. They love to talk to you, or I think they might love talking to you. It depends. But these people actually still live here. So you can go see them yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. Go visit them yourself. Make a liar out of me. But this community still live here. And it's not just the Mani people. There's been other indigenous black communities living in Thailand. For example, the Semang community. That's a group that once lived in Thailand. So I'm not just making this up. This is actually based on the truth. Believe it or not. Okay, with regards to the Funan Kingdom, let's take a closer look at these people, okay? Let's look at how they viewed the world, how they perceived the world around them, how they saw the environment, how they interacted with the environment, how they interacted with themselves, how they perceived the world around them. Okay, we find many Buddhist themes when examining the Funan Kingdom. A key to understanding the Funan people is to take a closer look at how they viewed the world. According to Fritjof Capra in the Tao of Physics, Buddhists believe life is dukkha, which is frustration and suffering. The Buddhists believe the cause of this suffering is trishna, which is, as he say, clinging or grasping to notions, ideas, or perceptions which we falsely believe are permanent. Fritjof Capra states, this frustration comes from our difficulty of facing the basic fact of life, that everything around us is impermanent and transitory. All things arise and pass away, said the Buddha, and the notion of flow and change are basic features of nature. So, what they're saying is, we as individuals, we collectively, we have frustration and suffering in our lives because we're clinging to notions and ideas and perceptions which we believe are permanent, okay? that we believe are solid, that we can hold on to. And according to the Buddha, that's really is not going to help us. That's not a good position to be standing on. Okay, because all ideas, all views, all perceptions are transitory by nature. And when you try to hold on to something that is flimsy and transitory, that by itself would cause you a lot of suffering and frustration in your life. Okay, to get a deeper understanding of the Funan people, I think we should look very closely at what was important to these people. We need to look at what they perceive as the essential aspects of life. And the essential aspects of life, according to them, center around the teachings of the Buddha. Capra goes on to say in his book, The Tao of Physics, suffering arises in the Buddhist view whenever we resist the flow of life and try to cling to fixed forms, which are all Maya. Maya is just another word for illusions in Buddhist terminology. Whether they are things, events, people, or ideals, these are all illusions according to the Buddhist view. So, how does that offer anything to us in our modern society? Are you happy right now? Are you going through any frustrations right now? Does the Buddha offer us any type of solutions to our problems? Does this kingdom, the Funan kingdom, how they live, how they perceive the world, their tradition and practices, does that offer any guidance to us? Does that offer any directions to us? This is the benefit of studying ancient history, of studying ancient civilizations, because they've already tackled the problems that we are now facing. And they can offer us solutions as to how to deal with those problems and dilemmas we're now being confronted with. The Funan structured their society upon these high concepts and notions, which contributed to the flourishing of their civilization. Contrary to that, the opposite of that, the commercial notions of today's modern societies have contributed to global destruction. For example, global warming, AIDS, famine, world wars, and God knows what else. I mean, racism, we can look at colonialism, I can go on and on. There is much the Funan can teach us. The level of peace and happiness and harmony that you saw with the Funan civilization, you don't see that with the modern African American community today. You don't see that with the modern African countries on the African continent today. So the Funan kingdom, those people got it right. Yes, they did. Apparently, they knew something that we didn't know, because they achieved a level of peace, happiness, and fulfillment that we don't see with the modern Black communities today. And it's true. This is the truth. They were not confronted with diseases. They were not confronted with poverty. They were not confronted with any of those problems that are now confronting the modern Black communities on the African continent and in America today. So yes, I think they got it right. I think the teachings of Buddha can offer us some solutions, can offer us some guidance to our modern dilemmas that's facing us today. Yes, they did. There's a reason why people in traditional societies have the practice of honoring your ancestors, because your ancestors came before you, and a lot of those problems that you're facing now, they already tackled them and overcame them. And you can learn from your ancestors. The Funan Kingdom offers many lessons on how to structure a society where we live in peace and harmony with ourselves, the natural world, and with each other. As I said before, the Funan Empire, it covered the locations which include Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and Myanmar. Now, the Funan Empire, that kingdom practiced Buddhist and Hindu spiritual practices. Okay? Those countries which I just mentioned, they have carried on a lot of those practices. A lot of those countries that I just mentioned, the primary religious spiritual system of those countries is Buddhism. And that just goes back to the Buddhist practice that started with the Funan Kingdom, okay? The Funan Kingdom are the one where the primary conveyors of Hindu and Indian culture in that region of the world. In those countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, they have carried on those practices. Like I said, we as Black people, we can learn from the Funan Kingdom. We can learn from those spiritual practices that they offer us. They offer guidance and help for us with the problems and dilemmas that we're now being confronted with. Those countries, they have carried on those practices, and we should too. If it's going to offer us some assistance to our own lives, we should take them. We should accept them. We should use those as guidance, the way those other countries are now doing today. Thank you for listening to my lecture.